been keeping bettas for almost as long as I have been alive, and yet they still somehow managed to surprise me. So today we're going to be covering 5 facts about bettas that you probably don't know. Getting right into it with number 1, sensory pits or pores. They can be referred to as either. I honestly discovered these by accident. I was playing around with my favorite macro lens for my phone, getting some nice close-ups of my late Betta Alexander. He's not with us now, but he was gorgeous. So I was just taking pictures of him, and I noticed all of these little holes that he had on his head, these little tiny little pores, if you will. And I was so interested by that. I still have some pictures to this day. They're a perfect representation of these things because he had a lot of them. I think sometimes for bettas it can vary. Some may have more, some may only have a few. But Alexander had a lot, and they were very visible because of his coloring, so I was able to get some really good close-ups. Sensory pores are small openings located on their heads and near their eyes. These pits are part of their olfactory system and are used to detect chemical signals in the water, such as food, pheromones, and environmental changes. The sensory pits function similarly to a sense of smell in other animals. Water flows into the pits where sensory cells detect dissolved chemicals and send signals to the brain for interpretation. This ability helps bettas navigate their environment, locate food, recognize other fish, and respond to potential threats or mates. In addition to their sensory pits, bettas also rely on their lateral line system, which detects vibrations and movements in the water, further enhancing their sensory perception. Together, these systems allow bettas to thrive in their aquatic environment. And one other interesting fact here before we move on to the second fascinating feature. Some people have found these sensory pits and actually freaked out thinking that their betta fish had hole in the head, which, if you don't know what hole in the head is, it is a disease. I don't think it's super common. I don't hear of a lot of bettas getting it. Usually you see things more like dropsy and ick. This is definitely not hole in the head. It's completely different. It's a disease. I will put a little description here of what hole in the head is because I don't want to accidentally describe it wrong. I'm not super familiar with it, but you can do a little bit of reading. You can pause here if you want to find out a little bit more about hole in the head. Just know that this is not hole in the head and you do not need to freak out anymore. Fascinating feature number 2, the Labyrinth Organ. A lot of people are probably familiar with this, but if not, this is what bettas use to make those beautiful bubble nests. The Labyrinth Organ in betta fish is a special respiratory structure that allows them to breathe atmospheric air. It is located in a chamber above their gills and is made up of thin, folded tissues rich in blood vessels. This organ enables bettas to extract oxygen directly from the air, which is especially useful in low oxygen environments like stagnant or shallow waters. The labyrinth organ is a key adaptation for survival in their natural habitats, such as rice paddies, slow-moving streams, and ponds, where dissolved oxygen levels can be very low. Bettas will frequently swim to the surface to gulp air, which passes into the labyrinth organ for oxygen absorption. This special feature classifies bettas as labyrinth fish and distinguishes them from many other small species that rely solely on gills for respiration. It also explains why bettas can survive in small, poorly aerated tanks, though they still require proper care and water quality for long-term health. Isn't that interesting? There are a few other fish that have this labyrinth organ, but not many. Bettas are one of the only fish that have labyrinth organs, so I thought that was really, really neat. Side note, this is why you should never fully block the surface of the water in your tank. Bettas need to be able to get up and breathe. So if you have a really thick layer of floating plants, consider thinning some of those out a little bit. This is also why during shipping, you will see people put a betta in a bag and they will fill it up with air or with oxygen, and then they will tie it off. If you were to just send a betta in a bag of water and that's it, they would actually drown, which sounds kind of weird and almost a little bit ironic, a fish drowning, but really when you think about it, it's kind of the case. If a betta cannot get oxygen from the surface, they will die. The oxygen in the water just isn't enough for them. Fascinating feature number 3, teeth. Did you know bettas have teeth? Yeah, I Really didn't know until, again, I was playing around with the macro lens and doing a little photo shoot of my late Betta Alexander. I happened to get just the perfect top view while his mouth was open. He always had a pretty big mouth. Most Bettas, you aren't going to be able to see this, but Alexander, he had a big mouth, and I was actually able to capture a photo that shows these fine little serrated lines of teeth. I took a minute and I was kind of processing that, and then I thought, you know what, let me go to Google and see if Bettas have teeth, and yes, indeed they do. Now, it's not exactly the same as the teeth you and I have, and they cannot bite a chunk out of your hand, so you don't need to be afraid of that. There was someone once who did express their concern about that to me. Well, what if my Betta bites my finger? Well, it's not gonna hurt you. It's like lizards. I live somewhere where there are a lot of lizards, and they have little tiny teeth as well. But if one bites your finger, it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to cut your skin. The same way with betta fish. These teeth just allow them to rip up their dinner because they are carnivores. Contrary to what some people believe, they do not eat plant matter and they cannot survive off of plant matter. I'm talking to the people that have taught for a very long time that bettas could go in a vase with a plant and would eat the roots of the plant. This is not true. Bettas are carnivores, and so they need those teeth to cut up their meal. Fascinating feature number 4, bettas are sound sensitive, which is why you don't want to have them in an area that is constantly loud and noisy. This can cause them to become overstimulated and stressed. It's another one of the reasons why you will have a hard time sneaking up on a betta, because they are quite sensitive and they can feel the vibrations from your footsteps. And last but not least, something I learned just recently that really blew me away. I had no idea, but bettas have monocular vision as opposed to binocular vision, which is what we have. Both eyes see the same image at the same time, but bettas, they see something different out of each eye. And like a chameleon, they can move their eyes independently. How cool is that? I had no idea that they could do that, but apparently they can. And this is why sometimes your betta will have challenges when he's eating. Sometimes if you notice he goes for the food and then he misses it, it's because he has monocular vision. So depth perception is not really great. So he can miss things sometimes. So you have to give him a little bit of grace with that. And bettas also don't see quite as clearly as we do either. So if you want your betta to see you, you could wear a brighter colored shirt. You can also move in front of the tank. They can see movements and colors a lot more easily than they can the finer details. These little fish blow me away. It's just wild to me that I could be in this hobby for this long and still be learning so much. It's honestly really exciting and I have a lot of fun. If you're new to this channel, consider sticking around. If you like what you see, please feel free to provide further information in the comments if you thought of anything cool while watching this video. You are also more than welcome to request specific videos. If there's anything you want to see, please let me know. And constructive criticism is always appreciated as well. Before you go, make sure you join my free Facebook group, the Betta Fish Forum. You'll find a link to that in the description. It is a wonderful place, and that's not just coming from me, it is coming from all of the amazing members that we have inside. So make sure you become a part of the family. I also have my other socials linked, so if you're an Instagram kind of person or even a Pinterest kind of person, I post in both places, so you can check those out as well. Instagram's a lot of fun. I post every other day and it's usually some type of silly pictures of my fish or some informative short form content. I also announce when I put out new videos on my channel each week. It's a lot of fun. So if you have Instagram, I do suggest you check that out as well. And with that, friend, I am wishing you a blessed week. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see you soon.